Hello, dear students of class 12. I welcome you all to yet another video lesson on the poem Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda. Some of you requested for another video lesson of the poem, and some of you have raised doubts. So, through this video lesson, I want to make clear every aspect of the poem so that your doubts may be clarified. I hope all of you will enjoy the video lesson. The poet in this poem demands the necessity of quiet introspection. Man's action, his rush and hurry have already caused much chaos and trouble in the world. Now it is a time when he should take a pause and do self introspection. Keeping quiet for a second. The poet wants us to keep still till he counts 12. Let us not talk in any language on this earth. He asks us to stop moving our arms so much for 1 second. An exotic moment when all are engaged in introspection. There will be peace all over. So, this peaceful environment will really be a fascinating one. Let there be no rush or hurry for a second. Engines and other machines must come to a halt for a moment. That moment will be a fascinating moment for all of us. We all shall enjoy the sudden strangeness of the moment together. No harm to anyone. When all are in introspection, there will be no harm to any creature or to the environment. See this picture? Fishing of whales. The poet wants that the fishermen would not harm the whales in the cold sea of the polar regions. Even the man gathering salt with his own hands must take care of his hurt hands. See, fishing of whales. A man gathering salt. He has hurt his hands. He is very much busy in collecting salt. He wants to get more and more salt. He wants to collect more and more. And in this process, he forgets about himself. See the condition of these people. How much they're suffering. They're in trouble. They do not have time to think about themselves. No wars of any kinds. All wars would be stopped at once, like the green wars against the environment, wars with poisonous gases, and the use of firearms must be stopped. In such wars, the victory is meaningless as no survivors are left after the wars. Instead of fighting and waging wars, they should come out in their best dresses. They must go out for a walk with their brothers under the shady trees. They must enjoy doing nothing. See, the picture shows war with gas. It is hazardous one. It is harmful to the mankind. War with fire. See, arms are used for this war and people lost their life. People in war, they only think about victory, but such a victory is meaningless. Victory with no survivors. Stillness, not total inactivity. Here, the poet Pablo Neruda advocates stillness, not total inactivity. The poet doesn't want that we should confuse stillness with total inactivity. Stillness does not have any association with that. We should not always be on the move. For a while, we should also take rest. Man becomes sad when they fail to understand themselves. A long silence can do us a lot of good. It can soothe our feelings and help in removing this sadness. Earth remains alive. This is related to the last stanza. Again, the poet reminds us that stillness doesn't mean total inactivity. We can learn a relation from the earth that when everything seems to be dead, the earth remains alive. The poet asks us to keep quiet till he counts 12. Some brainstorming questions for you. Give meaning from the poem. Say number means what's the word for this? Count. Motionless. Which word is similar in meaning to motionless? In the poem, you will find a word still. Still means motionless. Surface. You'll get a line in the poem on the face of the earth. See, face is similar in meaning to surface. Antising. Antising means, see, antising is charming. Machines, etc. Which word is similar to that? Engine. At once. Sudden. Those who catch fish. What is the word for this? Fishermen. Largest fishes. Which word in the poem refers to largest fishes? Whales. Collecting. It is gathering. Those left alive. Survivor. Wear means put on. Okay. The preparators of war, after introspection, they will realize their mistake and put on clean clothes. Win means victory. Victory is the word similar in meaning to win. Okay, wars with gas, war with fire, or war against the environment. There is no meaning of such wars, as no survivors will be left to enjoy the victory. The act of doing nothing, it is inactivity. Associated. Associated with. The phrase struck with in the poem is similar in meaning to association with. Vast, huge, appears, seems, not living, dead, silent, quiet. Now, comprehension question for you. What will counting up to 12 and keeping still help us to achieve? See, this counting up to 12, this may help us to get away from the mood of anxiety or anger and to be ready for introspection. Keeping still will help us to have peace of mind. It will help us to think about ourselves, about humanity. This keeping still will also bring a kind of unity because the peace that keeping still will give will envelop us together. Let us not speak in any language, says Neruda. Why? He says not to speak in any language because this is universal line. He wants it not only for a nation or a particular race, but for all. Moreover, nowadays language is used for ill purposes, okay, rather than good ones. Language breeds hatred many a times. So he wants us not to speak in any language. What should we not to do for a second? We should not move our arms so much for a second. What will happen if there is no rush or running of engines? Answer this question and send to me how all of us would feel at that time. This also you need to answer and send to me. What do fishermen do in the cold sea? They kill whales in the cold sea. What should the fishermen not do? They should not uh, go in the cold sea and kill whales. What has happened to the man gathering salt? The man gathering salt has hurt his hands. He has injured his hands. What should the man gathering salt do? He should stop gathering salt for some time, okay, and think about himself. Describe the different kinds of war mentioned in the poem. Uh, which kind of war are mentioned in the poem? Green wars or wars with gas, war with fire. These are the wars mentioned in the poem. What kind of victory will it be? It will be a victory where there will be no survivors left to celebrate it. What should the warmongers do? They should uh, stop engaging in any kind of war. Instead, they should be engaged in introspection. They should relax themselves and their mind. And after introspection, they should realize the importance of humanity. They should leave wars and put on clean clothes, leave their old ways and relax. What should the warmongers do that I said? What does the poet not want to be confused with? Pablo Neruda says he advocates stillness and that should not be confused with total inactivity. What were we not focusing on? We were not focusing on humanity. We were not focusing on keeping ourselves united. We were not focusing on pausing for a moment. We were not focusing on rest of our mind, taking care of ourselves. When can a huge silence do us good? This question you need to do yourself. What can earth teach us? Earth can teach us the lesson of optimism and determination. What lives when everything seems dead? Earth lives when everything seems dead, isn't it? Uh, that is all about today's video lesson. I hope the doubts that you have raised are clarified, and do the questions given here in your notebook and send it to my personal WhatsApp number. Thank you. Have a wonderful day ahead.